The Newsfeed PM. Charter flights carrying more Palestinian refugees from the Gaza Strip won't land in South Africa. According to reports, South African authorities have refused access to airspace following request from United Arab Emirates. Charter companies.
These are
the Palestinians. Wow, stranded.
لأنه إحنا ناس جايين من حرب، إحنا ناس تدبرت بيوتنا، إحنا ناس أنا زوجي استشهد، أنا بيتي راح، أنا ما في عندي أي مكان أي مرجع.
sorry. Eita. ما كفي.
غزة هربين من الموت على جنوب أفريقيا. الحكومة في جنوب أفريقيا مش راضي تستقبلنا. احنا هنا عالقين في المطار، نرجو المساعدة. جايين من غزة هربين من الموت على جنوب أفريقيا. الحكومة في جنوب أفريقيا مش راضي تستقبلنا. احنا هنا عالقين في المطار، نرجو المساعدة.
Guys, if you've enjoyed this video so far, please do me a huge favor and hit the like button and subscribe. These videos take quite a long time to make, so if you could help me out, I'll love you forever. Thank you all for your support. Now let's get back to this crazy story.
South Africa, the nation that took Israel to the International Court of Justice, has made two decisions that has shocked observers. They are blocking flight carrying Palestinians from Gaza, and they have also revoked their 90 days visa-free travel to all Palestinians. On the surface, it looks like a complete contradiction, but when you take a critical look, a complex and disturbing image emerges. It's about opposing what they called forced depopulation. In short, some middlemen are using Palestinians as a business deal, importing them and abusing their 90 visa-free stay. These people literally went to South Africa without passport, and some even went with just one-way ticket. That means that their intention is to stay permanently by using the visa-free route instead of using the appropriate channel. And so, the South African government have scrapped the 90 days visa-free channel for Palestinians and also shut down their airspace. If it's your first time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and click the notification bell.
بعد عناء شاق الله بيعلم فيه يومين مستمرين من الشقاء والعناء من الباصات ومن الطيارات. تفاجأنا مفاجأة حزينة جدا إنه الدولة مش راضية تستقبلنا لنفوت بس لأنه إحنا ناس جايين من حرب. إحنا ناس تدبرت بيوتنا، إحنا ناس أنا زوجي استشهد، أنا بيتي راح، أنا ما في عندي أي مكان أي مرجع، إحنا وين نروح؟ بيكفي ما بالله إحنا افهمونا وصفينا بيكفي حقوق الإنسان وين وصلنا.
So the story started in November 2025 this year when an unannounced and unexpected arrival of a charter flight arrived in Johannesburg with Palestinian refugees. At the time they got stranded, but with the help of an NGO, Gift of God, the government intervened and allowed them safe passage and access into South Africa.
Yesterday we had a plane of 160, we're carrying 160 Palestinians landing at OR Tambo. And these are people from Gaza who somehow mysteriously were put on a plane that passed by Nairobi and came here. And I got to hear about it from my Minister of Home Affairs, wanting to know what do we do now. And I said, we cannot turn them back. Even though they do not have the necessary documents and papers, these are people from a strife-torn, a war-torn country. And out of compassion, out of empathy, we must receive them and be able to deal with the situation that they are facing. And it does seem like they were being, flushed out. We will get the details later, but from a humanitarian point of view, we could not return them from whence they have come, and we had to accept them, and they are now here, and we are going to be processing everything about them and then deciding precisely what needs to be done.
Most of these people decided to seek asylum, whilst others decided to leave and continue to other places. The rest also stayed. But a crucial detail, these people had no travel document. They had no return ticket and no clear accommodation plans. But if you intend to use the visa-free travel route, you are supposed to have all these documents, but they didn't have. But their excuse was that they were fleeing from war. They were fleeing from Gaza. So on humanitarian grounds, the president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, decided to allow these people in, even though border authorities initially denied them access, keeping them on the tarmac for hours. But after public outcry and intervention, they were eventually granted exemption. But the incident triggered a high-level investigation into how this was arranged. And the results of the investigation are the biggest clue to South Africa's new policies.
These Palestinians from Gaza reportedly were offered by a mysterious aid organization shadowed in secrecy and obscured in their publicly available information, known as Al-Majd Europe. They were offering, essentially, Palestinians, they were offering them exit packages. $1,000 for babies, $5,000 for adults. Many paid this money out of sheer desperation, and then they were put on this plane and sent to Kenya, where there was a stopover, and then the plane took off again and then landed in South Africa. No documentation, no confirmation, no agreement between the states, nothing, nada. It's a chartered flight, meaning it's private, right? It's privately organized. It's not like Pegasus Airlines or wherever. You can just book a flight and, pull up to Heathrow and no, it's not public. And now there's international outcry, confusion, fear, worry by so many people. Why? Well, because this seems like a more advanced version of smuggling people into the back of a truck, taking them, taking thousands of dollars from them and then taking them in their however many hundreds, thousands, and chucking them into Europe. We've seen, border control. There's UK border force, TV shows here in the UK where they showed like police officers basically screening trucks and then going and seeing that whole families sometimes were hiding at the back of the trucks, desperate for a new life. It sounds similar to those manipulative individuals that take money in the thousands of dollars, thousands of pounds or euros in some cases, and put people on dinghies, boats that cross the English Channel from France, head to the UK, which is why a lot of the reform supporters now are like, stop the boats, stop the boats. It's similar.
The results of that investigation are the biggest clue to South Africa's new immigration policies. The Department of Home Affairs concluded that there were deliberate and ongoing abuse of the visa exemption policy. In short, middlemen are taking money from these Gaza people and putting them in a chartered flight and just going to depose them in South Africa. These people weren't tourist or short-term visitors. The travel was being organized by unregistered intermediaries or Israel actors. Passengers were reportedly given one-way ticket and prohibited from bringing luggage. Classic signs of a relocation scheme under the guise of a visa-free travel. Now, South Africa's foreign minister argued that accepting these flights would make them complicit in a broader plan to depopulate Palestinian territories. And so the block of the flight from London in South Africa and the withdrawal of the 90-day visa-free travel is a means to stop the alleged exploitation and forced migration into South Africa from Palestine. Now, this brings us to the final and most complicated clue. South Africa has positioned itself as a global ally of Palestine. In fact, they filed a genocide case against Israel for exploiting and taking advantage of Palestine, and even took them to the International Criminal Court, where they had a South African lawyer represent them. In case you didn't watch that, here's that video.
Madam President and distinguished members of the court, it is a privilege to appear before the court on behalf of South Africa. I will address Israel's genocidal intent. At this stage, the court is not required to determine that the only inference to be drawn from the available evidence is genocidal to order provisional measures, as that is to decide the merits. Rather, the assessment of the existence of an intent to destroy could be made by the court only at the stage of the examination of the merits. That some of the alleged acts may also amount to atrocities other than genocide does not exclude the finding of plausible acts of genocide. Madam President, South Africa is not alone in drawing attention to Israel's genocidal rhetoric against Palestinians in Gaza. 15 United Nations special rapporteurs and 21 members of the United Nations working groups have warned that what is happening in Gaza reflects a genocide in the making.
And so their immediate refusal to let the Palestinians off into South Africa was seen by many as being a hypocritical attitude. And that was when Cyril Ramaphosa unintentionally allowed these people to enter South Africa. That was the first time. And so they are insisting that they won't allow these people land into South Africa because it is a grand scheme to depopulate the Palestinians into South Africa. And now let me go and then read a letter. A press release has been issued by the Home Affairs. Following abuse of Palestinian travelers, Home Affairs withdraws 90-day visa exemption. And this was released on 6 December 2025. Following investigations and recommendations by national intelligence structures and consultations conducted within the security cluster, which confirmed deliberate and ongoing abuse of the 90-day visa exemption for Palestinian ordinary passport holders by Israeli actors linked to the voluntary immigration effort for residents of the Gaza Strip. The Department of Home Affairs has withdrawn the exemption. Short-stay visa exemptions are a commonly used instrument by countries around the world to incentivize tourism and short-term travel. However, investigation into the recent arrival of 2 charter flights transporting Palestinian passport holders revealed the systematic abuse of this exemption, with travel designed not for the purpose of tourism or short stays as intended, but to relocate Palestinians from Gaza. And so for them, the investigation they conducted has revealed that intermediaries are using this route to rather permanently relocate Palestinians into South Africa. Instead of being a short stay term and allowing people to visit South Africa, they are rather using it to relocate Palestinians. That is why they have withdrawn this short stay visa for Palestinians. Now, what do you think of South Africa's move to prevent this flight coming from Palestinians from landing, and also withdrawal of the 90 days short visa for Palestinian passport holders? Do you think it's a step in the right direction, or you think they are being unfair to these people fleeing from war zone? Don't forget to leave your comment in the comment section. It's a wrap for today.